Thank you to War Thunder for sponsoring this video. Elden Ring is possibly the most gorgeous game I've ever played, right next to Red Dead Redemption 2.
Pickings for some carpetbaggers like...
What makes it so special is that every bit of this game is just as dangerous as it is beautiful. You know you're going to die horribly with a rusty crowbar stuck up your ass, but it'll also be the most fun you've ever had. Earlier this month, I figured I would revisit Elden Ring to prepare myself for the new expansion, Shadow of the Erdtree. I had already platinumed the game back when it was first released, so this time, I wanted to do something different. You see, my first attempt took 70 hours, which is quite respectable since most trophy guides fall somewhere between 60 to 100 hours. But this time, I'll up the ante by challenging myself to get the platinum trophy in just 35 hours, exactly half the time it took me on my first try. Don't worry, I won't use any cheats or glitches. No cheap tricks allowed on this channel. Instead, I'll use my skills, and a handy little guide that details the exact path I need to take in order to complete the game in the most efficient way possible. Remember guys, I'm no speedrunner. I'm just a huge fan of the Souls games. And to be honest, my skills are quite rusty at this point because it's been a while since I last played Elden Ring, so I'm not exactly up to date on the newest meta, which means my character builds will be suboptimal, at least in the beginning. As I play through the game, I'll gradually learn more about how the items and weapons have been updated during my hiatus, and I should manage to cobble together a better build by the end. If you've never played Elden Ring before, sit back, grab a drink, and relax, because this is going to be a learning experience for both of us. As for the veteran players, I apologize in advance for my cringeworthy performance. Feel free to leave your hate comments below. But remember, I've already platinumed this game once and I have nothing left to prove. This playthrough is just for fun, so I can fulfill my goal of completing Elden Ring in 35 hours or less. I'm also going to use co-op summons so that I can get the platinum trophy as quickly as possible. Consider this my way of celebrating Shadow of the Erdtree and a tribute to the wonderful Elden Ring community. With all that said, let's get this show on the road, shall we? I begin by picking the Confessor class because it looks cool. Remember guys, fashion is the #1 priority in any Souls game. Always be dripping. On a more serious note though, Confessor is an excellent choice if you're going with a hybrid Dex Faith build. For my keepsake, I'll pick Shabriri's Woe, which makes enemies aggro onto you. Seems counterintuitive, but it's excellent in boss fights when combined with the Mimic tier. And that should do it. Time to play some Elden Ring.
The fallen leaves tell a story.
Nope, still can't make any sense of that intro no matter how many times I watch it. But I must admit, it looks absolutely epic and really motivates you to become the next Elden Lord. My journey begins inside the ruins of an old chapel, and as soon as I cross the nearby bridge, I'm greeted by this man-bug thing called the Grafted Scion. This whole bit is scripted, so like Dolph Ziggler in the mid-2000s, I embrace my destiny as a jobber and take a plunge into the shadowy depths underneath. Inside, I meet some old dude on a chair who tells me to play through the tutorial, but I don't have time for that, so I walk out and activate my first Site of Grace. These are basically checkpoints where you can refill your healing flask and upgrade your character. If you die, you'll always respawn at the last Site of Grace where you rested. After taking an elevator up, I enter Limgrave, which looks absolutely stunning. I could spend days staring at the scenery, but the clock is ticking, so I activate the next Site of Grace and talk to the weirdo in a white mask. Bro, do you always rub your hands like that whenever you're giving directions to random strangers? Makes you look kinda shady, just saying. See that tree sentinel down there? I'm going to stay away from him because at this stage of the game, he'll absolutely destroy me. Since this field is nice and wide, I'll just let the giant horse guy enjoy his evening stroll and sneak right past him towards that church. Inside, there's another Site of Grace. Whenever I need to teleport between places, I can open the world map and select a Site of Grace, so it's nice to discover and activate as many of these as I can early on. It's going to save me a lot of time because I don't want to run around all day. Besides, I've got more important things to do, like collecting these golden runes. These are little piggy banks that will give me a lot of runes later when I activate them. Runes I use to level up and buy items, so I'm going to collect as many of these as I can. I beat some really weak enemies and rest at this Site of Grace, triggering a cutscene in which I'm visited by a teleporting girl who looks like Jane from Twilight. But she isn't interested in turning me into a vampire. Instead, she calls me a virgin and offers to help me by turning my runes into levels. This unlocks the level up system, and she also gives me a whistle to summon Torrent, who's a spectral steed. Awesome, now I can move around a lot faster. Right now, my goal is to get inside the Round Table Hold, which is like a lodge for Tarnished. Getting there will earn me a trophy, but first, I need to talk with this 4-armed sorceress at the church. She gives me the spirit calling bell, which lets me summon various spirits. Now I can call some wolves to assist me in boss fights. After exploring Limgrave for a bit and gathering some loot, I rest once again at a site of grace to trigger Melena's second appearance. She offers me her hand and I graciously accept, but instead of living together happily ever after, I get teleported into some dingy hall with a round table in the middle. So this is the round table hold, and look, there's my first trophy, let's go! The round table hold contains a lot of important NPCs who will give me all sorts of quests, but I'll talk with these guys later. Right now, I'm preparing to get my second trophy by killing a giant zombie deer called the Ancestor Spirit. And by preparing, I mean collecting a crapload of random items, runes, maps, and other little knickknacks scattered around the ginormous map of Elden Ring. I don't want to bore you guys to death by showing clips of me dying over and over to giant dogs, bats, and whatever other unholy creatures FromSoft puts into their games, so I'll skip the tedium and get straight to the interesting bits. Meet Master Smith Hugh. He can upgrade my weapons and trade items in exchange for runes. I immediately sell all the gold runes I've painstakingly collected over the last couple of hours, so I can do this. Yep, I just spent all my runes on leveling up Intelligence, Faith, and Arcane, so you can guess where this build is headed. Then, I equip the Meteorite Staff, which is one of the best early game weapons since it has S tier scaling with Intelligence. I also equip the Rock Sling, Flame, and Grant Me Strength incantations, both of which synergize perfectly with each other. The Flame incantation is multi-purpose, as it boosts both physical and flame damage. Rock Sling does physical damage, so it will get buffed whenever I use my Flame incantation. For my third incantation, I select Urgent Heal. It doesn't restore much HP, but can help me out in a pinch since I can cast this spell while moving. Oh yeah, my guy looks awesome with that staff. Come Torrent, let's set off to wreck some scrubs. Down the hill in a stream, I'm invaded by this guy, which is the perfect opportunity to test out my shiny new upgrades. That's right, eat my purple balls. Okay, now that's just rude. You're supposed to lay down and die in peace. Holy shit, he nearly killed me with a single combo from his twin blades. Gotta maintain my distance. I'm really not cut out for close quarters fighting. Right as all hope seemed lost, another warrior joined the fight on my side. This is Bloody Finger Hunter Yura, and he's going to town on old Neergis over there. Yeah, get his ass! Neergis falls, but somehow I feel like I didn't really do anything in that fight. I got carried by Yura, who commends me for surviving the fight against such a powerful foe. I don't know, man, it was all you back there. Yura also warns me about the great dragon Agil, but I'm not interested in fighting him right now because I've got another dragon in mind. This one is Elder Dragon Greyall, and she can't fight back because she's seriously injured. So I'm gonna put an end to her misery by poking at her feet with my tiny knife until she dies of blood loss. Death by a million cuts! It only took me like 15 hours, but it was worth it because I received 5 dragon hearts that can be traded at the Dragon Communion for dragon-based incantations. Sweet! And here are all the awesome spells I can buy with my dragon hearts. I take Greyall's Roar, which puts a debuff on enemies that lowers their defense and attack. Then I also purchase Rotten Breath, which does physical damage over time in a small area. The effects of Rotten Breath will be amplified by my Flame incantation, so I can chew through enemy mobs in a matter of seconds. You might be wondering why I didn't take a Dragon Flame spell, because that would be the natural thing to do. Well, I'm actually trying to get a trophy here. When I purchased Greyall's Roar, I also made some progress towards a trophy called Legendary Sorceries and Incantations, which requires me to collect all legendary sorceries, of which there are 7. Now I have 1, with 6 more to go. Elden Ring also has trophies for collecting 8 legendary talismans, and 6 legendary Ashen Remains. My next acquisition is the Bloodhound Step, which is an upgrade material that can be applied to any melee weapon. With this, I'll become temporarily invisible while dodging, and my dodge itself will cover more distance. There's just one problem. The ashes required to unlock Bloodhound Step are in the pocket of this knight's cavalry. At first, I try to rush him head on, but one look at that massive health bar and 20-foot long halberd tells me that I should consider other strategies. So I climb up on a tree branch and try to snipe him with my magic spells. Oh crap, he's following me up here. Wow, that was anticlimactic. I thought I'd have to pull off some 3D chess moves, but this guy literally fell to his death like an idiot. Whatever, free ashes for me. I apply the Bloodhound Step to my trusty broadsword, which should make me a more slippery target whenever I'm using it. Inside a cemetery, I find my first legendary ash, Luthul the Headless. This was a fairly easy fight, as I buffed myself with the Flame incantation and just spammed rocks at him. 1 legendary ash down, 6 more to go. Then I go for my second legendary incantation, which is Flame of the Fell God. This one is dropped by Aiden, the Thief of Fire. He's a big boy, but my purple rock spam is cutting him down. Sorry pal, that isn't gonna save you from imminent death by boulder smash. Just gotta stay away from his giant fireball, and down he goes. Thanks for the spell. Now I have the power of the sun in the palm of my hand.
The power of the sun in the palm of my hand.
This video is sponsored by War Thunder, the most epic vehicular combat game you can play that's free on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. And you know the best part? It's also cross-platform, so you can use your superior mouse and keyboard skills to wreck some filthy console peasants. Like me. Look, every time I die it's either Smurfs or PC players, and I'm tired of it. My deficiencies aside, War Thunder is surprisingly detailed in its simulation, despite the massive scale of weaponry on display. You have over 2,500 tanks, airplanes, helicopters, and ships from 10 major powers, covering a period that extends from World War I to the modern day. This is full-on combined arms we're talking about, and yes, you absolutely can fight a modern day Leopard 2A6 in your Tiger II. You'll die a horrible death, but at least it'll be fun for the first 5 seconds. War Thunder's graphics, sound design, and driving mechanics strike a perfect balance between military simulation and arcade action, with an easy learning curve so anyone can hop into a vehicle and start having fun almost immediately. Combat feels fluid and immersive, with damage models so detailed, they take into account individual components on a vehicle like the engine, fuel tanks, crew, and weapon systems. My personal favorite are the jets because I like to pretend I'm Tom Cruise in an F-14. Yes, I occasionally fly into the runway while taking off, but I don't let such minor issues get into the way of my Top Gun LARPing. So what are you waiting for? Join the world's largest community of military nerds in massive PvP battles using my link in the video description or pinned comment below. If you sign up using my link, you'll also get a bonus pack that contains multiple premium vehicles and the exclusive Eagle of Valor vehicle decorator, along with 100,000 silver lions and 7 days of premium activity on your account. This bonus is only available for a limited period, so use my link to join War Thunder now. Alright, my next objective is to get a legendary weapon. There are 9 of these in total, and I'll get a trophy for collecting all of them. Some of these weapons can be found as loot, while others are boss weapons. I'm going for the Sword of Night and Flame, which scales with strength, dexterity, intelligence, and faith, so just about every stat in the game. This is an excellent weapon with a versatile moveset and a special stance that can either shoot a long-range energy blast or sweeping wave of fire. It's really cool, I'll show you, if I can make it past these stupid hands. Guys, might I suggest grabbing onto something else like that tree over there? You could even shake up and down to stimulate a symbiotic relationship. I bet the tree's gonna like that a lot. Let's see, the legendary sword should be down here in this storage room. Ah, there it is. 1 legendary weapon has been acquired. Now I need 8 more for the trophy. It's time to take on my first real boss, the Ancestor Spirit. This is the giant zombie deer I mentioned earlier, but the most difficult part about this fight is solving a puzzle to summon this thing. The boss itself is a total pushover, and a free trophy considering how strong I am right now. After lighting a bunch of torches to complete the summoning ritual, I walk up and place my hand on the dead deer's antler. This teleports me into the boss arena, so I activate my flame buff and walk through the yellow fog gate. There he is, in the distance. This old carcass of a deer has some wide swing attacks, but they can be blocked with bull shield, or you can just dodge roll out of the way. The ice breath is really slow and doesn't have a lot of range, so I just maintain a bit of distance and I'll be fine. My giant purple balls are doing a lot of damage, so I just have to wait out his moves and look for an opening to spam them. A well-placed shot staggers the deer, and he's stunned. Time for me to unload everything I have. Goodbye, poor fella, may you rest in peace, again. Unless someone else wakes you up for round 2. With the zombie deer dead, I earn the Ancestor Spirit trophy and head back to the round table hold for some rest. Turns out this asshole has been wreaking havoc in here. Time to kill him and restore the hold back to its former glory. After saving the hold, I talk to a girl called Roderica, who can upgrade my Ashen Remains. So I upgrade Luthel the Headless to level 6, which should give me a significant edge in all future boss fights. Speaking of boss fights, it's time for boss number 2, Leonine Misbegotten. Defeating him will give me another trophy, as well as my second legendary weapon, the Grafted Blade Greatsword. Honestly, getting to Leonine's lair was a lot harder than defeating it, because I encountered half the aquatic flora and fauna of the lands between on my way here. Giant crabs, giant jellyfish, these weird archer bird things. Leonine is some kind of chimera, half man and half lion. He's fairly aggressive and a bit faster than the other bosses I've faced so far. However, his poise is non-existent, and his simple rock sling staggers him mid-animation. Still, I don't want to get hit by one of his jump attacks because you saw what it did to me just now. He's pretty low, just need one more rock combo, and he's defeated. The lion has fallen, and I've received the Grafted Blade Greatsword, along with the trophy for slaying Leonine Misbegotten. You know what they say, with great power comes great strength requirements. This blade requires 40 strength, and I have 12. And my puny mage arms are literally too weak to wield the grafted blade. But that's fine, because I just need to keep it in my collection. My next boss target is Margit the Fell Omen. The game tries to tell me this guy is strong because he's the first boss I've faced who has his own cutscene. Margit wants to put an end to my ambitions, but bro doesn't know I'm the main character. I immediately call in Lethal, and we cut through Margit's health bar in no time. His attacks are simply too slow and telegraphed, and I'm able to deal lots of damage with my purple balls while Margit is distracted by Lethal. Great enemy felled, trophy achieved, and we're one step closer to the platinum. We're really picking up the pace now, because right after Margit, I'm going to fight Godric the Grafted, who's a significantly stronger enemy. He has two phases. The first one is more passive with some basic lunge and AoE attacks, but the second phase is what I need to watch out for, because he's going to use that dragon arm of his, which spews flames. There it is, the man just chopped off his own arm and replaced it with a flamethrower. Now he has a lot of range and can sweep the entire arena with a single blast from his dragon arm. But my boy Lethal comes in clutch once again, keeping Margit pinned down so I can rain giant rocks on his head. A few barrages and he's dead, just like that. This shows you how much difference a good build can make, because Godric is actually a strong boss for most beginners and responsible for at least a few broken controllers, but not this time. I got the trophy for killing Godric, and now it's time to grab my third legendary spell. For this, I'll head into the Hermit Village and talk to primeval sorcerer Azur, who doesn't say much, but understands that I'm here for the special good. He hands me the Comet Azur sorcery, and with this, I can shoot a powerful comet that works like a Kamehameha wave. It's a channeled spell and constantly drains focus points, but also deals massive damage from really far away. With this spell acquired, it's time for the next boss, Godskin Noble. He's an absolute unit and shoots black flames like Uchiha Itachi. Wait, are those man boobs? This guy looks like he ate everyone in a 2-mile radius, which is why I barely met any enemies on the way. After swinging his sword for a while, Godskin decides to sit down and catch his breath. It's okay, big fella, you just stay right there while me and my buddies massage your back. Holy crap, he just turned into a flying donut. Yeah, I definitely don't want to get hit by that second move. Godskin is really pissed and starts tearing the place down, but we chop him down pretty fast with our combined damage. I earn the trophy for beating the big man and do a celebratory dance with my co-op buddy. My next trophy will come from upgrading a weapon to its highest stage. I go to the blacksmith in the round table and upgrade my Moonveil katana all the way to level 10, which earns me the Godslaying Armament trophy. With no time to waste, I go for my next boss, who is the Red Wolf of Radagon. I like to call this one Discount Sif, but it's actually not a bad boss fight. The wolf is deadly at all angles and can shoot magic beams in addition to wielding a giant fiery sword in its mouth. If you get too close, you'll get torn to pieces by his melee combos. Thankfully, I have my friend Lethal to soak up the brunt of this big doggo's offense while I hang back and sling some purple balls from the back. And down goes the big bad wolf, giving me my 6th boss trophy. For my next trick, I'll kill 2 trophies with 1 boss. Or was it the other way around? You know what, let's just kill Renala. She's boss number 7 in this playthrough and is a pain in the ass because every time you die, you have to run a cross-country marathon to get back, since the developers conveniently forgot to put a site of grace nearby. I really don't want to retry this fight, so I've called in 2 co-op friends to help me out. Renala is floating in the air, and to get her down, I'll have to kill her followers who keep tossing books at me for some reason. Depleting her health bar triggers a cutscene, and we begin the second phase of the fight. Now we're standing on a giant lake, and Renala has transformed into a witch who shoots moon magic. But she is quite easy to stagger, and has long cast animations, which is a recipe for disaster while facing multiple opponents. Eventually, Renala goes down. I get 2 trophies, one for killing Renala, and the other for obtaining a great room from her. Now that's what I call a 2-in-1. There's another boss trophy to collect, and for this one, I'll defeat an overgrown iguana. Meet the Magma Wormmaker, a really confused lizard who doesn't know what he wants to be. Is he a swordsman, a fire-breathing dragon, or a failed science project? Either way, I'm sending the Wormmaker to his maker real soon. He pivots on his ass like a drunk ballerina and drops his giant sword on me, but my shield took all of the impact, leaving me without a scratch. If this guy moved any slower, they'd probably make him an extra in one of Steven Seagal's movies. I land the finishing blow with my rock sling, and the giant lizard goes down, giving me a trophy. Lootle has been extremely helpful so far, but I still need to collect 5 more ashes for that trophy. So for the second ash, I head to a dungeon in Atlas Plateau, where I fight the ancient hero of Zamor. He has a decent lunge attack and frost breath, but other than that, this guy is helpless against my rock sling. I kill him to get the ancient dragon knight Kristoff ash. 2 down, 4 more to go for that trophy. The next boss is Elimer of the Briar. He'll give me the Marias Executioner's sword, which is a legendary weapon. Elimer's style is brutal and refined, like a butcher wearing a knight's costume. Despite his apparent lack of grace, this guy is extremely deadly because he can levitate his sword with telekinesis and extend its range significantly. Basically, he can strike any place in the room at any time he wants. And on top of that, he has a nasty dash attack that skewers through you when you least expect it. If you try to run away, Elmer will pull a Darth Vader choke on you and slam you against the ground, dealing massive amounts of damage. This fight was really tough, because at any point he could drop me from full health to 0 in just one combo. It took me several attempts, but I beat him with Loodle's help and got my trophy. I also got my 3rd legendary weapon, which means there are 6 more to go. While Elmer was pretty tough, he's nothing compared to who I'm about to face next. Star Scourge Radahn. Lore-wise, he might actually be the single strongest being in the entire game, and he's a shard bearer, so defeating him will give me a fragment of the Elden Ring. Obviously, I'm not going to solo run. It's just too much effort and will slow down my platinum, so I call a co-op friend to help me out. And then I summon a bunch of NPCs. Trust me, we're gonna need all the help we can get for this guy. Look at him, he won't even budge from his spot, he's just sitting there spamming arrows at us. As we close in, Radahn decides to pull out his giant blades and gets to work. This is an amazing sight, just a bunch of little dudes whacking away at a giant's feet while he runs around on his tiny horse. Apparently Radahn learned gravity magic just so he could ride a horse that's several times smaller than him. They definitely don't make horses the size of mountains, so this is what he has to deal with. Radahn falls after putting up a valiant fight against a lot of us, and I get the Shardbearer Radahn trophy for killing a legendary boss. Before I fight the next boss, I'm going to take a slight detour and grab the 4th legendary weapon from Redmane Castle. Here we've got a dual boss fight against the Misbegotten Warrior and Crucible Knight. Right from the start, I summon Loodle, and then I quickly nuke the Misbegotten Warrior before his friend gets the chance to help him out. The Crucible Knight is a bit of a damage sponge from the front due to that shield, but he goes down after I catch him with a few backstabs while he's distracted with Loodle. This gives me the Ruin's Greatsword. Now I can go for Royal Knight Loretta, who lives in the world's weirdest pool ever. Why does he have all these chairs? Is this some kind of aquatic round table or something? Doesn't matter because me and my buddies are beating his ass. Yeah, another trophy, baby, let's go. The Mimic Tier is one of the most unique bosses in Elden Ring because it copies every item you have, which is why I'm going to have to do something really funny right as I enter the fog. Unequip all my equipment and healing items. The Mimic Tier spawns with no items, or at least was supposed to, weird, and gets wrecked by my co-op teammate. I earn a trophy for stripping naked in front of everyone and grab the Mimic Tier ashes from a chest in the Night Ground, which is near the Mimic boss arena. Whenever I summon the Mimic, he's going to replicate all of my equipment, including the Shabriri's Woe keepsake. All I have to do is equip the item while creating a Mimic, and then unequip it so the boss will be forced to aggro my Mimic instead of me. Remember the Ancestor Spirit we killed earlier? Well, this is a slightly improved version with more HP, but otherwise it's the exact same fight. Sorry buddy, hate to kill you again, but I really need that trophy. I then enter a chamber with a waterfall where I fight a 50-foot tall mummy. This is Dragonkin, soldier of Noxtella. Now I don't know who Noxtella is, but their armory should have equipped him with an actual weapon because right now he's just flailing his arms like a moron. I kill Dragonkin and get a trophy for beating yet another boss. Next up is Shardbearer Rykard. He is the 2nd Shardbearer after Radahn. But before I fight him, I need to collect the Mood of Noxtella talisman and upgrade my Mimic Tier ashes to the maximum level at the Round Table Hold. With all my preparations complete, let's head to Mount Gilmere and kick Rykard's ass. Before I can get to Rykard, I must defeat the God-devouring serpent, which looks like it lost a game of Snake 2,000 years ago and hasn't managed to untangle itself. Unfortunately for this serpent, I happen to have a level 5 Serpent Hunter. This is a great sword that works like a spear whenever you use the L2 attack against serpents. It shoots a focused shockwave that can rip through anything in front of it, like this guy. Since I've killed Rykard's little pet, he must be hungry for revenge. Where is he? Wait, there's a dude inside the snake? Ah, so that's Rykard's true form. No problem, I just need to stay out of the lava and spam my Serpent Hunter's L2 attack over and over until he drops. Rykard's swings are heavily telegraphed, plus he's focused entirely on my Mimic. Look, the floor is lava! Rykard begins getting more aggressive as I drop his health, and tries to grab me with his mouth, but I'm too quick for him. A few jabs later, he drops dead, and I get the Shardbearer Rykard trophy for killing the ugliest, slimiest boss in the entire game. In the Round Table Hold, I use Rykard's remembrance to purchase the Blasphemous Blade. This is the perfect weapon for me, as it scales with faith and does bonus fire damage on top of its base physical attack. I'm also level 102 now, with 40 strength and 38 vigor, so I can definitely hold my own in a sword fight. My hybrid strength faith build is beginning to hit its stride. Just need a few more items and I'll be good to go. In the Seal for Aqueduct, I come across my next boss fight, and this is going to be a 2v1, but I have my Mimic Tier to even the odds. The second Gargoyle will take a while to show up, so I smack this one in the butt for a few seconds. It's important not to split damage between the two, as that will just prolong the fight. See that bar in the middle? I just got hit by the gargoyle's poison breath. When it fills up, I'll start taking poison damage every second until it runs out. I killed the first gargoyle, but ran into another poison cloud which completed the debuff, and now my health will keep draining over time unless I have a cure, which I don't. This fight just became a lot more interesting because I have to kill that second gargoyle fast, otherwise I'll die to the poison. My mimic is really putting in work, helping me get some easy backstabs on this gargoyle. And I need all the free damage I can get because I have just 2 healing flasks left. Yes, I killed the second gargoyle and got a trophy for winning one of the most annoying boss fights in the entire game. Believe me, this would have looked very different without my level 10 mimic tier. I progressed the legendary spells trophy by grabbing the Elden Stars incantation from a cave in the deep root depths. This spell looks really cool, but its damage is a bit underwhelming. My next trophy will come from defeating Astel. He's the giant space bug you see over there with a scorpion tail and dragonfly wings. Astel is one of the most memorable boss encounters in the game because of his otherworldly ability. He shoots laser beams from his mouth and warps around like a ninja, even though he's the size of a mountain. Sometimes he'll create these massive electrical shockwaves that burst from the ground with an explosive effect. And just look at that design, his tail looks like it's made from a bunch of tiny planets. But I'm not here to admire this eldritch horror, I'm here to kill it. So me and my buddies put on our war faces and begin slaying the monster. Oh crap, he's throwing meteors at us. In the end, Astel falls like every other boss, and I get my trophy. After defeating Astel, I decide to progress my legendary Armaments and Ashes trophy. First, I grab the Dark Moon Greatsword from the Cathedral of Manisalis, then I defeat Electo, the Black Knife Ringleader, to get the Black Knife Tiche Ashes. Electo is one of the harder bosses in the game, as she's extremely aggressive and quick with unpredictable moves, and her blade is imbued with death, so she temporarily drains her maximum HP with every hit. Her most dangerous move is the Helm Splitter. You definitely don't want to be inside that red sphere of death when it goes off. I finish her off in style with my Blasphemous Blades R2, which can be charged up to shoot a wave of fire. And there's Black Knife Tiche. I can now summon him with my Spirit Bell. Just 2 more legendary ashes to collect, and I'll get my trophy. Before going to the Round Table Hold to upgrade my newly acquired ashes, I make a quick stop at Kelowna's Rise to grab Ranni's Dark Moon Sorcery. I have now secured 6 out of 7 items for the Legendary Sorceries and Incantations trophy. At the Round Table Hold, I visit Roderica and max out my Black Knife Tiche ashes till 10. Then I fight Godfrey, the first Elden Lord. This is a shade, not the real one. The real one is in the Ashen Capital, and I'll get to him later. Defeating the Shade is easy. Most of its attacks are slow and predictable. And there's my trophy, Godfrey, first Elden Lord. You guys already know who's going to be the next Elden Lord. After beating Godfrey, I grab the Bolt of Grand Sax, which is a legendary spear that scales with strength and dexterity. Then I make my way to the next fight, which is against Shardbearer Morgoth. Apparently he's Godfrey's son. I would tell him that I killed his father 5 minutes ago, but I don't want him to die a sad death. What I want for him is a quick death, which is why I brought some friends. And would you look at that? He did die pretty fast. Demigod fell, and I got another trophy. My next target is Mohg the Omen. He's Godfrey's twin brother, and I don't want to leave him all alone in this cruel world with no family, so I'll give him a free ticket to the afterlife where he can meet his father and brother. Mohg does have some nasty blood magic, but his defense is very weak. I've summoned Black Knife Tiche, who's doing quite a lot of damage. She's the perfect counter to Mohg because her blade reduces his max HP, and he's really slow, so she can get in plenty of hits on him and dodge everything he throws at her. I'll let her do most of the heavy lifting because Mohg regains HP every time he strikes me. Thankfully, he won't benefit much from the stolen HP since my summon is reducing his maximum HP pool. And down he goes, giving me yet another boss trophy. I want to collect the final legendary sorcery, which is in the Heretical Rise. It's in a chest above the tower, right here. And there's my trophy for collecting all legendary sorceries and incantations. I'm beginning to feel like a warrior mage with all these spells under my belt. Now I just need to find the remaining legendary ashes and weapons for 2 more legendary trophies. For me, the 7th legendary weapon is located right next to the Commander Niall boss arena. Niall is an elemental boss with lightning and frost spells. He also has these wide sweeping attacks that cover a near 360-degree arc and make it very hard for you to flank him unless you've mastered the dodge roll timing. With a bit of teamwork, we relieve the commander from his post and get another boss trophy. The 8th legendary weapon is held by Misbegotten Crusader, a derivative of the Chimera boss Leonine Misbegotten, who I fought earlier. But the difference in strength between them is staggering, as this one has over 8 times the HP and deals holy damage with his Golden Order Greatsword. I summoned Black Knife Tish to assist me, but it's still a close fight. So close that in the end, we kill each other at the exact same time. Now that I have the Golden Order Greatsword, I just need one more legendary weapon for my trophy. I also need to kill the remaining shard bearers to get their trophies. Mohg, Lord of Blood, is my next target, and he's a variant of Mohg the Omen. Just like the previous Mohg, this guy has the hemorrhage status effect, which triggers bleed damage. He can also lifesteal, so I'll try my best not to get hit. See this ring around me? If Mohg puts 3 of these on me, I'll get cursed and take massive damage from blood loss. Like this. I pop a bunch of heals to stay alive, and after a couple of staggers, Mohg goes down. There's my Shardbearer trophy, just a few more to go for that platinum. Loretta is one of the easier boss fights when it comes to legendary bosses, as she isn't very aggressive and her attacks are easy to dodge. After getting her trophy, I grab my 5th legendary Ash, as well as legendary Talisman 5. The final legendary Ash is held by the Putrid Tree Spirit boss, so I kill it to get my trophy for collecting all 6 legendary Ashes. After that, I kill the Fire Giant boss for another trophy. He was just a damage sponge, tanky, but also very easy to dodge. After beating the giant, I unlock a special Site of Grace, where I'm visited once again by my maiden, Melina. She asked me if I want to commit a cardinal sin, and I happily agree. So Melina sets the Erdtree on fire and vanishes, leaving me with my next trophy, Erdtree Aflame. To unlock my next boss fight, I have to sleep with a deathbed companion. I'm no fan of necrophilia, but this is the only way to fight Lich Dragon Fortisax. I beat him with the help of my Mimic Tier and get the Lich Dragon trophy. Next up is a boss I've beaten before, but this time there's 2 of him. Meet Godskin Duo, the ultimate skinny fat circus act. While these 2 look very menacing, they aren't that fast and have very limited range. It only takes a couple of minutes to beat Godskin Duo, and I earn another boss trophy. I then get the legendary Armaments trophy by beating an invader who is carrying the Devourer's Scepter. In the next room, there's a chest containing the Old Lord's Talisman. I just need one more talisman to get the legendary Talismans trophy. But first, I'll take care of Malekith, the Black Blade. This boss fight has 2 stages. First, you fight the Beast Clergyman, and after you do enough damage, Malekith reveals his true form. He's faster than the Clergyman, and his attacks cover a wider arc. He can also do aerial combos that shoot blades of energy. After some back and forth, I put an end to Malekith's dance and earn his trophy. A cutscene plays telling me that the Rune of Death is unbound and all hell is going to break loose, but I really don't care. I'm going to become Elden Lord one way or another. This is the point of no return as I wake up in the Ashen Capital. The road ahead will lead me to the game's final boss, and I'll get my first ending. There are 2 more endings that I can get by reloading the save file. I can go fight Millennia right now, who's the hardest boss in Elden Ring, and one of the hardest bosses in all of Souls history. But first, I'll defeat another optional boss, Dragon Lord Placidusac. This 2-headed dragon has fire and electric attacks that hit everything in a certain arc, so I'll try and maintain a safe distance. Once he drops down to like 40% HP, Placidusac does this really cool move where he vanishes into the sky and drops down like a meteor from a thunderclap. I dodged it by moving 5 whole inches to the right, but you can't deny the impressive theatrics on display. He then starts warping all over the arena, disappearing and reappearing to do his massive claw attack. After I poke him in the ass with my sword, he flies around in a cloud of black smoke, like the Death Eaters from Harry Potter. But even this trick wasn't enough to save him from his death. I got the Dragon Lord trophy and headed towards Millennia. On my way, I grabbed the Erdtree's favorite talisman, and since I now have all 8 legendary talismans in the game, I get the legendary talisman trophy. Okay, I'm here, Millennia, time to play. Now, I want this to be a fair fight. Don't mind those other 2 guys, they're just here to watch. Alright, they might stab you every once in a while, but that's it, no more. We blitzed through the first stage, and now she's become the Goddess of Rock. But the 3 of us combined do a ridiculous amount of damage, and she falls within 2 minutes. Another demigod felled, another trophy for me. Next up is the real Godfrey, and he's a menace. Godfrey has 2 phases. In the first one, he swings a great axe and has the typical moveset you'd expect from a heavy gladiator. However, once you drop him to 50%, he goes full berserker and turns into a bloodthirsty maniac who fights barehanded. In this phase, Godfrey is a lot more aggressive and will stay on top of you while unleashing giant area attacks that shatter the ground beneath. You need to time your dodge rolls and jumps perfectly if you wish to survive Godfrey's relentless onslaught. Thanks to some help from my co-op buddies, I take Godfrey down without having to try too hard. And there's my reward, Hurrah Luke's Warrior Trophy. Hurrah Luke's used to be Godfrey's name before he became an Elden Lord. The game is almost over, I just need to go through each of the 3 endings. For the Elden Lord ending, I need to defeat the game's final boss, the Elden Beast. But it won't appear unless I defeat this guy. He's Radagon. the guardian of the Elden Beast, and he's wielding the hammer that was originally used to shatter the ring. Now he's trying to put it back together, but I've got plenty of my own. I'll take the ring as it is, no repairs needed. Radagon's melee attacks are slow and don't do much damage, but what I need to watch out for are his stomps. He also has a hammer slam that creates giant shockwaves. Since I've got cooperators, I don't need perfect timing, and I don't care if I get hit by his attack. Just like that, Radagon has been defeated. With its protector gone, the Elden Beast shows itself. This is the true form of the Elden Ring, a magical alien creature that came from the stars. How old is it? I have no idea, but it's older than anything else on this land. What amuses me is that even in a fantasy game, humanity's first contact with extraterrestrial life inevitably ends with both sides trying to kill each other. Well, the Elden Beast started this fight, so I'm gonna finish it. I must say, this is the most single beautiful boss fight I've ever experienced. The setting, the boss design, the music, everything meshes together in perfect harmony to create this melancholic feeling in the back of your head. As much as I hate to destroy something so beautiful, it must be done. Goodbye, Elden Beast. After defeating the beast, I find the fractured shell of Queen Marika. For the Elden Lord ending, I'll choose to mend the ring. Yep, that's me on the throne, all dripped out. And there's my trophy for the first ending. For ending number 2, I'll summon Ranni. She replaces Marika as the queen, and I become her eternal consort in the stars. There's my second trophy, just need one more for the platinum. The third ending is definitely the weirdest. First, I talk to a giant hand with 3 fingers who turns me into a burn fig. Then I drop dead near Marika and wake up as Ghost Rider. The whole world is on fire, and I seem to be the only one responsible. Guess some men just want to watch the world burn. I get the Lord of Frenzied Flame trophy and Elden Ring. We've done it, guys. Platinum Elden Ring in less than 35 hours. Wow, that was an amazing journey. I hope you guys enjoyed this platinum run because I sure enjoyed playing through Elden Ring once again. And now I'm gonna go play Shadow of the Erdtree. But before you go, don't forget to check out today's sponsor, War Thunder. Sign up for free using my link and you'll receive a bonus pack with multiple premium vehicles and lots of other goodies, along with 7 days of premium content on your account.